Hello, how are you doing? This is Experience Abbey, and we're here to discuss and to review a wonderful album by the Alan Parsons Project. It was a double album called Freudiana, and well, it's a bit of a discussion about if it was an Alan Parsons Project album or not, because there was a row between Eric Rubson and Alan Parsons, which were the two members of the band. And at the end of the day, there wasn't a clear author of this album. As a matter of fact, you see the cover of the album and there's no credit, there's no signature at all. You only see Freudiana there. But, I mean, everybody, even me, think that it's an Alan Parsons Project, like it album, you know. And I think, actually, it was the best one. And the reason why I think it's the best one is just because of the high quality of the songs and the consistency of the concept it conveys. And well, it was made kind of in the fashion of a rock opera, just like Pink Floyd's The Wall or The Who's Tommy, just a rock opera. But instead of these other cases, the album went quite unnoticed, probably because of the date it was recorded. It was in 1990, and it was a time of big changes, and a lot of formulas had grown tired and obsolete. But this album is quite amazing, very good quality, very good production values, and it doesn't sound 80s, it doesn't sound 90s, it just sounds completely intemporal. And that's what makes it, in my opinion, the best album from the Alan Parsons Project. I need to say as well that when they were making the album, Eric Rubson was approached by this guy called Brian Broley, and he convinced him to make it in the format of a musical, like an opera, you know. And then, well, they went to a disagreement about the authorship of the album, and they split up, and they went to court, and Brian Broley won the cause. But anyway, the album finished up being credited by the Alan Parsons Project, you know. And then I'm gonna analyze the tracks one by one, and the first one is called The Nirvana Principle. This track is kind of a display of musical exuberance. You know, you get a lot of strings and horns and drums, guitar, all kinds of instruments. It's a display of music, very explosive. Starts up with a big part, and then it leads you with a rhythm that reminds you a lot to Where's the Warblers, which is an instrumental from the album Stereotomy. And it's an amazing track, and it really sets the mood for the rest of the album, because it sounds quite complex and urban as well, and full of energy. And then everything leads to a part in which there is jungle sounds, and then the main song of the album, which is called Freudiana, appears. And I think the intro of that song is quite amazing. It's like with flutes and the sounds of the jungle, and then the music builds up. With the rhythm machine as well. And then appears the voice of Eric Rubson, which I think makes probably the best vocal performance of the Alan Parsons Project. You know, very, very good song. And he speaks about how sad and miserable he was feeling one day, and then he took a book from a shelf, and it was about Freud, and then that's the start of, you know, the concept in the album. Even then, I think, even when they chose the concept of Freud and his works and everything, I just think Eric Rubson was trying to get an intellectual excuse to channel his own emotions and feelings, and then that's what makes this album so interesting, because it's not strictly about Freud, but it's about Eric Wolfson, about his experiences and emotions and feelings and everything. And even when he looks at it with the lens of, the Freudian work, but it sounds so human, it sounds so full of emotion and all that, the whole album is quite good. I wanted to say as well, I think it has a parallel thing with Abbey Road by the Beatles, because the Beatles were about to split up as well. They were tired, they were exhausted, and Let It Be had been a very exhausting experience, and then they just decided to make one last wonderful album, and they made it. It's my favorite album, and I think in the case of Freudiana, it's a bit like that. I mean, I don't know if they were conscious that they were gonna split up, but they made such a huge album, such a huge work of music, and it lasted more than 3 years actually. But I think the outcome was absolutely round. I mean, perfect, absolutely perfect. If you haven't listened to the album, you need to. Anyway, this song Freudiana was very good, as I was telling you. And then you got a climax with an Ian Parsons solo. Couldn't be any other way, because Ian Parsons is a master of the guitar, and he's become a very important part of the band, of the Alan Parsons Project, even when he's not a proper member himself, but he was always there in all their albums. And then this song Freudiana leads to I'm a Mirror, which is a song about the role of the psychoanalyst, and it's a very fast song, a very pop song as well, should I say, sung by Leo Sayer. And well, what makes this song quite interesting is an instrumental interlude that's in the middle. It sounds really like, very medieval, and it's very reminiscent as well of the film Lady Hawk, which soundtrack was made by Andrew Powell, which is, as you know, is the arrangement man in the Alan Parsons Project. The song is fantastic, very good song, and especially that part in the middle, filled with like xylophones and strings and horns and all that, giving you the sense of a medieval film, very good song. And then it leads to Little Hands, which is a very Beatlesque song. I mean, you can almost hear the sound of the voice of John Lennon when you listen to Graham Dye singing that song. It's a very happy and joyful song about one of the pupils of Sigmund Freud, which was called Little Hans, a very young guy. And the song, as I say, is quite good, with the keyboard that leads the whole song, and another very good solo by Ian Parsons. And the singing, as I say, is very good, with this Lennon-esque kind of voice, a very rough voice,
Little hands, what do you say? The world is full of big
And then we get this beautiful ballad with a lot of orchestral arrangements that's called Dora, which was one of the few patients Sigmund Freud treated. It was a lady, and the song is very romantic, with an intro by Ian Parsons on the guitar, on the chorus guitar. The song is very reminiscent of other songs of the Alan Parsons Project, probably Time and songs like that, but very good, with a very nice sense and very good musical taste. And I think it rounds up a perfect first side of the first album of the two, of the first disc,
waiting for the night to end.
5 songs that are very complete and very different one each other, but again they set a very, very high standard of quality. And then we turn the LP and we get this very, very weird song which surprised us all, when we first listened to it. It's called Funny You Should Say That. It's about dreams and all that. And well, just to say, they had to hire a complete band just to sing it, which is the Flying Pickets. The Flying Pickets sing it in a very theatrical way, and it's very good. It's a very humoristic song with a lot of cartoon kind of sounds, like a Warner Bros. Cartoon, you know. It's a funny song, and it speaks about just the surreal quality of dreams. It's very Freudian, obviously. It's one of the main songs of the album, just because of the importance of that concept. And the song gets you out completely of the album. The other day I was listening to it with my 7-year-old son, and he told me, I'm listening to all this elegant music, and then here comes this, which is very childish and chaotic, but it's quite good, actually, quite good. Very, very good song that leads to one of the best songs in the album, in the double album. It's sung by Kiki D, this singer, female singer that made a very famous duo with Elton John, and the song is called "You're on Your Own." That's what the mother tells her son. You're on your own because you're growing. You're almost a man now, and you need to face the world on your own. And the words are very profound and very meaningful. But here again, it's the music which is absolutely fantastic. It's a proper rock song with Ian Benson playing a few electric distorted guitars. And I think the rhythm and the melody of the song are absolutely gorgeous. Very good song, very good guitar solo in the middle, and Ian Benson again. And the performance by Kiki D is brilliant as well. Very, very good song. Comes another song that's called Far Away From Home, which is a song about nostalgia, about feeling homesick, wanting to go back home, feeling so far away from everything. It's a beautiful spiritual thing. The thing is, I don't think it's really well placed in the album, because the songs around it are speaking about very different issues. But anyway, it's a beautiful song with different singers, and one of them is Eric Wolfson. It's almost orchestral on its own, and beautiful song, even when it's a bit clashy with the rest of the songs in that part of the album. But it's beautiful, and it sets you in a very beautiful and pure mood. And then it leads to a song which for me is the best song in the album. It's called Let Yourself Go. It's about Machi Jacquard, which was, as long as I know, I think it's a French doctor, which was one of the first ones in using hypnosis. And then it's about it, and in a way it's a very hypnotic song. It starts with pads and a fretless bass and the voice of Eric Wolfson, and again the vocal performance is very, very good, and the whole instrumentation and the whole way the song develops is absolutely genius. I mean, this song is one of the best, one of the 5 or 6 best in the Alan Parsons Project, hands down, period. Very good song. And then when everything is very quiet and you've become accustomed to it, there is a high, there is a kind of a rush with horns that sound quite weird and like very unexpected, you know. And then Eric Wolfson sings again. And it's amazing. That song is very underrated. Nobody knows it, but if you get the chance, listen to it. It's called Let Yourself Go by the Alan Parsons Project. Amazing song, best of the album probably, and again very hypnotical, you know, Then it fades away with a clock that sounds. It's like you've been completely hypnotized and all that. It's a very surrealistic song as well, even when it's quite simple. But it's very good, and it finishes in a perfect way this first album, first side of this double album called Freudiana. And then we go to side 2, and then the first song is again an instrumental track that is called Beyond the Pleasure Principle. It's the only track in the album composed by Alan Parsons, and it sounds quite standard of what Alan Parsons has been delivering. Sounds very much like other tracks from the Alan Parsons Project, instrumental tracks. And it starts with a big fanfare, and then you get saxophone. Sets again a good mood for the second album, second disc. And then we get into The Ring, which is another one of the central parts of this conceptual album. It's sung by former 10cc singer Eric Stewart, which was a very good acquaintance and friend of them, of the staff. And it sings quite good. It sings a little bit like Eric Wolfson kind of voice, but very good. It's about the ring that Sigmund Freud wore, and it's about compromises and how we become entangled and how we become engaged with the words we say and how we become compromised and all that. But it's quite a good song. Not as good as other songs in this album.
Spinning on the wheel of your own emotion, riding on a wild carousel, we turning round.
Good anyway. And then can't remember now which is the next song. Oh yeah, Sex Therapy. This is a funny song. It's sung by Frankie Howerd, which is an actor that sadly died not very long from when this album was made. And this is another kind of humoristic and satirical songs of the album in the vein of Funny You Should Say That. In this case, it's about all the bad parts of psychoanalysis, and then it's a funny story about this man that falls away with his wife, and then he flees home and seeks for a new life, and somebody advises him to seek a psychoanalyst. And then he meets the psychoanalyst, and he finds out that the psychoanalyst was so much worse than him. And then he joins a Hare Krishna group, and then he joins a nudist colony. And then it's very fun because he says, "But I didn't feel that I was quite equipped."
But I didn't feel that I was quite equipped for such a life.
Very British humor, very ironic humor, and it's quite nice. And then at the end, returns to the wife and all that, and it's quite a funny song. And it's good because, the songs are quite serious. They speak about real issues and sometimes heavy issues, and then this kind of songs makes you forget and have a little bit of a light-hearted attitude about the album, which is very good. It's very funkable. And then, we arrive to a song that's very special. I always thought it has a very big Pink Floyd influence, this song. It's called No One Can Love You Better Than Me, and it speaks about the subconscious and how every member of the family feels at the end of the day, and how they feel sometimes insecure and lonely and not loved and all that. And then the first singer is the father, and then you get the mother, you get the son, which is Eric Wolfson singing, and then you get the daughter, And the mother is Kiki D, and the father is, because I don't know it by memory, but Marty Webb. No, Marty Webb is the daughter, and Gary Howard is the father. It's a very good song, but the thing is, each part, each singer has a very, very marked and very strong character, and then they clash together singing "No One Can Love You Better Than Me." It's a song about the family, about insecurity, about lack of love, and it's a very interesting song from the psychological point of view. And then it leads to a beautiful track which is called "Don't Let the Moment Pass." It's a song about the ideal of romanticism, about that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful moment that you're never gonna forget, but it never comes back, you know. And then this lady, Marty Webb again, she's singing about how she would love that moment to last forever. It's a beautiful song, a little bit sad, very happy as well. It has a little bit of a bittersweet kind of quality, but it's a very good song. Not the best song in the album, not one of the best songs, but beautiful thing about it is it has this kind of Disney-esque kind of feel, you know. It's like a song that's sung in a film by Disney. The side finishes and you get the side 2, and then you get probably the second, in my opinion, second best song in the album, which is called "Dopamine." The song is about the upper ego, the super ego, you know, about that upper part of ourselves that tells us what to do instead of what we want. It's like the senior part of ourselves. It's very philosophical. The whole album is very philosophical. The lyrics are charged with a lot of thought, and the music is fantastic. This song is a perfect rock pop song.
What becomes of the upper me when the fire burns in my mind?
It is a virtuous song that once again is sung by Tennessee's former singer Eric Stewart. He sings brilliantly. It's a bit pop but very rock song, and with a very, very good guitar solo by Ian Benson, and definitely a very interesting lyrics set on it. And then we get to probably the least interesting part of the album, which is an orchestral version of the song Freudiana. It's very good anyway. It sounds very much like other instrumental tracks in the Alan Parsons Project with a symphonic flavor on it. But I mean, the song is just quite okay. It's probably one of the low points of the album, but it's still good. And then we get this other song, which is sung by Chris Rainbow. The only sound this song is the voice of Chris Rainbow, and it's very overdubbed. It's probably like 8 or 9 overdubs of his voice.
And you must face the world as
And it's a song that reminds you to a part of the song. This song that was called "You're on Your Own." It's a calm part of that track, and in this case, they just take that little part of the song in the song "You're on Your Own" and put it like a proper track. That's called "Destiny," and it was that part that Kiki D sang. Now Chris Rainbow sings it. It says, "And now you are alone, my friend, and I must set you free, and you must face the world outside and find your destiny." Beautifully sung by Chris Rainbow. It's a very, very short song. It's around 1 minute, and it leads to the swan song of the Alan Parsons Project. It's the last song that appears in an album in the Alan Parsons Project. And well, in Tales of Mystery and Imagination, the third track was sung by John Miles, which is my favorite singer of the Alan Parsons Project. And in this case, the closing of the band is sung by him again, by John Miles, although Marty Webb sings a little part as well in the song. The song is called There But For the Grace of God, and I think it's a brilliant closing, not only for the album, but for the whole The Alan Parsons Project. Why? Because I think the words are beautiful. It speaks about, transcendence, and it goes much further than the concept of the album. It's like trying to reach somewhere more profound. And the beautiful thing as well in this song, even when it's a very slow song and very melancholic, it's like even Eric Wolfson is just looking back about all these years, about all the albums, and looking for something better in his life. But the beautiful part of the song, which makes this album perfect in my opinion, is this saxophone solo, which is an amazing climax, and it just conjures up all the emotion of the album, all the feelings and everything. It's an explosion of musical beauty. Something completely undescribable unless you take the album and you listen to it. It's an amazing way of closing a discography of a band. I don't think there's another band that has closed with an album as good as this, apart from the Beatles as well. I mean, most of the bands closed their discographies with an album that was good, not very good, or just directly bad. But finishing the musical career with such a masterpiece is a very, very rare thing to see. I don't know if there's much left to say about this album, apart from saying that I really enjoy listening to it more than any other the Alan Parsons Project album. And the reason why is because this is the most perfect album, and not only in terms of production, but in terms of music, in terms of inspiration, in terms of choosing who sings a song, and the musicianship of every single player is stunning. I mean, from Ian Benson to the Cottrell brothers and Stuart Elliott on drums and the rest of the staff, it's amazing. I don't know how much involved Alan Parsons was in this project. Probably not very much, because you see and you feel the soul of Eric Wolfson in every inch of this album. But anyway, I just need to say this is a very, very, very underrated work of art, of music. And whoever's listening to this, you need to listen to that album because it's beautiful. Probably, if it was made, I mean, this is probably speculation, but if this album would have been made in 1982 or 1985, it would have been an epic, you know. But it came out in a time where new tendencies were appearing. Everything was quite changing, and the old bands were getting dismantled or probably trying to reinvent themselves in ways that didn't work. Let's say Genesis, the Moody Blues, or even probably Pink Floyd. But in this case, you know, the end of the discography is brilliant. Please subscribe to my channel for more music. And just one more thing, I just want to do all these reviews, but I want to attach these reviews with a mix of the songs I want to play on the acoustic guitar. I want to do kind of a medley of the whole album on acoustic guitar and singing. So please, I haven't done the video yet, but if you get the link here, please go to that video, because that's my intention to do that. And that will be another beautiful way to celebrate that beautiful album, Freudiana. Thank you, chaps. See you very soon.